What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Dragon Destinations. My name is Drew Heath. I'm the Director of Athletics at the Drew School. Today, we have a very special guest. He played a few sports for us, but during his time here, I think one of his claims to fame was he was the fastest man in San Francisco his last years of high school. He also was a stellar soccer player for us. And now, hoping I don't mess this up, he is now a college athlete running track at Rensselaer Polytech Institute. Today we have Ronen Stewart with us. Ronen, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good, good. I appreciate
Yeah.
you coming on and doing this. Obviously your mom still works at the school, so she's keeping me up to date with all the amazing stuff that you're currently doing, man. So we are super, super proud of you back here at Drew. But kind of want to
Thank
start
you.
from the beginning at the school. What was your best athletic memory in the two sports that you played?
Yeah. So soccer, I think is what I'll start off with, just because that's what I did more towards the beginning of my Drew career. I focused a lot more on soccer at the beginning, just because it's what I had been doing since I was like five and what my friends had been doing. And so I got to know some people on the Drew team early as well. And so I started to get to know them and found it really great to compete with Drew. And so I'd say my best memory with the soccer team is sort of a two-part thing. It's during my freshman year being able to travel with the team to what's called NCS or the state championship um, meets or sectional championship meets or you have to
Yep,
games
yep.
sectional championship
You're in
games.
track mode. I get it.
Yeah, it's
Track mode.
the Olympics, everything. I'm in track mode. Um, yeah, games and being able to really learn from the seniors and have a team bonding experience with people who are older than me, able to teach me, being able to get to know my friends who are also freshmen on the varsity team a little more. It was just an amazing experience being with
Nice.
all those guys. And it's definitely something I miss.
Yep.
And then track, it's sort of a more individualistic sport. So while you do get that community, that sense of community, it's a little bit less. And so one of my best memories from track is probably in my, I don't know, junior year, I think, winning the BCL championship in the 200, just because it was a quite dominant performance. It was, I mean, going through that finish line, it was like maybe a half a second or more. And in track, that's a quite big lead. And just being able to go through and look around and still see people running after went to the finish line, it was just, I felt that I had really accomplished something, and the work I'd been putting into Drew had really paid off. And I think it was an awesome experience.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I guess for people who don't follow track as closely, winning by a second is like a lifetime. Um, so it was very dominant. Kind of to the point you just made, you started off mainly as a soccer guy, transitioned into track, and now that's what you're currently doing. What was that moment when you kind of realized like, oh, I'm more than just like a fast soccer player. Like I have like track speed, which is kind of different a little bit.
Yeah, so I'd always been sort of known as like a faster player in soccer. That was like one of my strengths, and so I played. If we're technical about soccer, I played center back, and more specifically, I played the like the very back. Whenever we'd have wingers push up and stuff, I was always the one set farthest back so that I could catch any speedy wingers or strikers. But
Yeah.
in in uh in general, I was just a very fast runner in soccer, and I think it also came down to the fact that in middle school, I had some success in track as well, even though I took it a little less seriously, just because it was middle school. And the actual like moment of transition for me, it happened with my club soccer team. After I had won with the league championships, 100 200 with Drew, I had went to my club team and they had started raising the level in soccer more. And I thought I could either try to keep up with these guys or really pursue track more.
Mhm.
And I made a sort of tough decision because I do love playing soccer. And I said I'm gonna focus more on track because I think I could actually do this in college maybe, and uh, and be successful. So I ultimately made the decision to switch to
Nice.
Australia.
Yeah, no, and that's never a easy decision to kind of give up the sport that you love and have some history with. Dude, you're perfectly setting up like my questions as we go along. So,
Yeah.
what was you focus on track? You have a very dominant and successful high school career. What was the decision to choose RPI for the school that you were going to go to? Because I was obviously here while you were in school, so I know you were kind of shopping around and looking at different schools to run at. What was the deciding factor to go across the country to New York to continue to run track there?
So whenever people ask me about why I chose RPI, especially when it's sort of like more in like what maybe other people should do setting, I like to say that RPI, I'm very happy I went here, but a big reason I went here is because I didn't apply to as many schools as I probably should have. Like applying to a lot of schools is important, and I didn't take that seriously. Uh and that's part of the reason I went to RPI instead of a different school. But ultimately I am having a great time at RPI and I love it here. And the main reason for choosing it is again twofold. It's the balance of academics and athletics. So I could have went to a D2 state school, a more competitive team, definitely. Um, but I ultimately decided to go to RPI because they had the academic program I wanted. I'm planning to be a nuclear engineer. That's the degree I'm working towards. And RPI had that. And it also had a really good track team and not maybe as good of a track team as I actually fully realized because we ended up succeeding a lot this year and everything just sort of worked out and not just because I sort of chanced into it. I think I had to work pretty hard to help my team do well and also do well academically. So it was really a rewarding experience.
Nice. What kind of has the college track experience been like? You kind of talked a little bit about balancing the
Yeah.
school academic part. Yeah, what has the whole first year kind of been like for you?
It's been difficult in a good and in good and sort of challenging ways. I think the key thing is balancing time on and off the track. We have practices anywhere from anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a day.
Okay.
It can be really intense. Just because of the travel times we get places, especially in the winter, it can be really difficult to maneuver around campus because it's in the Northeast, so we get a lot of snow.
Yeah.
So practicing indoors. But the biggest thing is balancing academic and athletic life because in track you have basically when you have a meet, there's a day where you're just at the meet. There's nothing else you can do besides be at that meet. You have to keep warm. You have to keep ready for your races. You might have to fill in for a relay, anything like that. So you just basically there's a day of the week and then all this time during the week when you can't do work. So balancing that is really important. And I think it's probably been one of the things that has helped me the most because it's given me a sort of regimen schedule that like day and I know what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, and when I'm doing it, whether that's academics or track. And it really helped me organize my things and do well in school and on the track.
Nice. I guess kind of diving more into track specific stuff. I guess kind of tell everyone like the events that you currently run, all the events you've ever competed in track, and then what your
Mhm.
favorite event to compete in is.
Certainly. I'm a short sprinter, so the events I focus on are the 100, 200, and then the 4x100 relay.
Nice.
Um, uh, a little, and I dabble in the 400. A little context on those events. The 100 is the shortest race. For all intents and purposes, there's the indoor 60, but the 100 is basically the shortest.
Mhm.
The 4x100 is the relay where you have people run 100 meters, then hand it off, and then run 100 meters again. If you're watching the Olympics, it was slightly unfortunate showing earlier today. The U.S. men's team got disqualified for a bad handoff,
Yeah.
and it was rough. But I digress. It's a fun event. Um, and I think I'm gonna have to go with the 4x1 is the most fun event for me, just because being able to run with your team, the guys on my 4x1 team, I'm really close with. And so whenever we go to overnight meets, we all usually get me and some other guys get a room together, whether it's two or three, depending on the space. And it's always nice to be able to really bond with those guys and then compete on the track.
Nice. And do I have this information correct? You guys just won your conference championship this year, right?
Yeah, we won our league or conference league championship for both indoor and outdoor. And outdoor, we do like to brag, it was by, if you know how track scoring works, it was by 100 points, which is quite a large margin, seeing
Yeah.
as you get it's sort of 10 points for winning, 8 points for second place. And so it was a quite great performance for the team all around. Our 4x1 team won. We got first in the 200 and the 100. Not by me, but I was up there certainly. I was competing, which was very nice.
Nice, man. Well, hey, dude, for your first year, freshman year, that's an amazing accomplishment to be a part of and to do. So kudos to you. And
Awesome.
yeah, no, I know for a fact coaches always try to convert the 1-2 guys to 400 runners. So
Mhm.
stay strong in the 1-2 if you don't want to do the four. Um, the last two questions I have for you, I guess first,
Mhm.
what would your advice be for anyone that's, I guess one, just trying to pursue college athletics overall, and then more specifically, someone who maybe want to follow in your footsteps. Hey, I do want to be a college sprinter as well.
Yeah, so I think the general advice for college athletics all around is if you have the flexibility to choose whatever college you want, um, you either have to make a choice if you're good enough to go D1 or D3. D2 is sort of a middle area for state schools and such, but D1 or D3. D1 is basically the idea is that you're there to do your sport, not necessarily to get a, you're not there for the degree. And then D3 is the opposite around. You're there to get your degree, and then sports is a secondary. Coaches don't necessarily see that eye to eye, but yeah. And so my advice is really figure out what you want out of college, what you're best at. And I think a lot of people will tell you that it's probably best to err um, on the side of not athletics going into college, just because there's a lot more opportunities if you focus on getting a good degree and doing well. But again, if you do go D1 and do as well as you can, it's really what you put into it. And if you succeed, then that's all the power to you. I mean, you're going to be one of the best in the world.
Yeah. And then I guess for track, I know it's a little bit different from other sports where um, coaches don't necessarily, your time say a lot about your performance. Where if you run a 10 for 100,
Mhm.
a coach knows that he doesn't necessarily need to see who you're running against. Whereas if someone scores 5 goals a game, well,
Mhm.
I need to see the competition and kind of vary like that. So I guess any tips for like guys trying to run college track? Do I need to like send out are there highlight tapes for track, or can I just send like my times to coaches?
It's all times. I don't think I've ever seen somebody send a coach sort of like a form analysis or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because ultimately that's what they want to train you on. And if they see that, I mean, they sort of know in high school you're not getting the best training overall.
Mhm.
So if they see your times, they'll say, all right, this is a good or bad athlete. I think I don't know. There's maybe a little bit of just literally looking at the times and saying this person's good or bad, rather than going a little more into it. Because there are other parts. There's parts of your race that either need to be worked on or not.
Right.
And there's strengths of your races. You could be a good starter. You could be good at closing out a race. But yeah, I think ultimately you want to run in high school as much as you can, get as many times down as you can, show your coaches, the coaches in college, what you're capable of. Send out a lot of the recruitment forms. I mean, that's ultimately how you get seen. You'll see these if you go to college athletics websites, go to like look up like something like I don't know Stanford, MIT. Yeah, these just look up that and then track. You'll see a team page and then you'll be able to click on like a more thing, or it'll just have a recruiting questionnaire. Fill that out, fill everything out. Even if your times really aren't great right now, just fill everything out whenever you can. Because coaches might take a notice in you. And so it's basically putting yourself out there.
Nice. That's great advice. And then our last question for you. If I'm a eighth grader looking at a potential high school to attend in San Francisco, why should I choose Drew School?
Um, well, so Drew offered me a lot of freedom in terms of being able to make my high school career more than just Drew itself, which sounds sort of it is strange, but what I mean is I was able to compete outside of school in terms of sports, and I didn't really have any issues with extensive amounts of homework or big deadlines on things. I mean, obviously you have that. It's a high school after all, but teachers are very accommodating and want to see you succeed both in and outside of the classroom. And additionally, I was able to take extra classes at community college my senior year, and a lot of the administration really helped me deal with the paperwork and the logistics of all of that. And it was very, very nice and it's something I don't think I would have gotten at a super big public school. I would have sort of had to get through all that myself, and I don't know if I would have been able to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I guess a sort of more selfish reason is my mom teaches there, got to keep the bills paid. Um, they have a great
Yeah.
acting department,
Yep, yep, yep.
but actually, in all seriousness, they do put on amazing shows at Drew.
They do. They do.
And a lot of athletes, well, depending on your season, but some athletes do even participate in those shows, and it's a great way to sort of have another team like experience, maybe a little more pressure, but yeah.
Yeah, no, no, great answer. Ronen, man, I appreciate you doing this. We are super proud of you over here, man. We still sing your praises, and we are watching from afar. Everybody else, this is Dragon Destinations. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.